Okay, y'all. Welcome back to Brit Reviews It All. I have been really busy. The holidays, going out of town, etc. But we're back. When I say this week's episode of Sistas was it was right on it, like jaw dropped. Um, I'll start with the little stuff. It wasn't really nothing. For me, honestly, we could have just kept moved on past some of the parts and gotten to the meats and potatoes. So we have Fatima and Zach. They're still dealing with the situation with his son. Um, the nosy neighbor pretty much basically said that because they went to go see him, they wanted to see him. Pretty much said that she saw the ambulance or whatever. Um, and and it looked like he was limping or something like that, the little boy. And um and also that whatever that between him and Fatima, whatever they did, they hadn't been seeing no guys coming and going from the place anymore. She hadn't seen anybody. That which basically made Fatima and Zach end up trying to go to a hospital, trying to see if they can find him. Come to find out, Zach doesn't even know the little boy's last name, which is weird. How do you not know that? You're trying to get custody. You don't even know the child's name. Do you know his date of birth? Do you know anything? You don't really know much. Um, that was kind of weird, but okay. So they basically at this point they don't know where he is, but they were able to get in um, a court appointment to get like an emergency custody kind of situation for the little boy. So we're gonna see what happens with that. Um, Anything else is going on? You have Karen dealing with the situation with her shop. Um, Not really interested. I don't really know what's gonna happen with that. At this point, Hunger is like, look, I gotta figure some stuff out. I gotta get to work. I got a baby on the way. So she's just like, I'm finna try to see what girl call my clients, see who's willing. I'm finna do hair out of my place if I have to, and make it do what it do, so I can get my business back up and going. So there's that. We just have to wait around and see what's gonna happen with that. Honestly, you probably would have had the money to go ahead and get it done if you wasn't being such a butthole. Zach offered to pay for it. He wrote you a check to help you get back on your feet. Um, and you being stubborn, you ripped up the check. So it is what it is, and I think you pretty much lost that. And he's not gonna give you that offer again. Um, Now going over into the biggest thing for me was the little dinner that they were doing. I still feel like it's really jacked up for Danny to basically be going on dates. Even though you know that you told Preston that y'all were actually going to try and to really see if the relationship is going to work. Um, you may not be going out on a date with a one-on-one date with this man, but technically you are going on group dates with your friends and this guy that she's interested in, the guy that Andy's interested in, and his friends. You are going on a date. You are. And you are spending time. You are getting to know this guy. It's not all right. It's really jacked up. And to be honest, if I was the dude that likes Danny, I would be questioning that. Like, okay, this is how you're acting. You know that you're actually with someone, but you are sneaking off, having little side dates, going out with your girls, but you're actually going to meet up with other guys. I would be questioning that. That's not. Mm-mm. But you're encouraging it because you like her so much and you don't want her. You want to date her for yourself. It is what it is. Whatever. Now, the biggest thing is I could not for the life of me understand why Gary. One, we didn't know why Gary was there. Two, we didn't know why he was pretending as if he did not know who Andy was. Three, I don't know why Andy stood there and went along with acting as if she didn't know who he was. Because if I was her, I would have said, "Oh no, sir, we do know each other." And she could have easily turned to the guy that she came his house. She could have turned to him and said what the situation was between the two of them, but she never did. And then, mind you, Sabrina and Danny and the other two guys, they were outside at the table. And it took a second for Sabrina to even see Gary sitting over there. And then she just kind of hits Danny like, girl, look, who's here? And I was like, this is the one time that I was ready for Danny to be Danny. Okay? Danny, spill the beans, say everything, talk, and put it out there because something wasn't right. Um, and then Gary, I mean, again, he was trying to act like he had somewhere to go. He had to leave, but the guy kept saying, "No, you need to stay. Please stay. Like, don't leave." I was just like, "What the heck is going on here?" I was so freaking confused. Y'all, when we finally find out why Gary was so eager to get the freak out of Dodge, um, that was so insane and it was out of nowhere and I was not expecting it. Turns out the it turns out the guy that Andy is liking right now, she's going on a few dates with him. He has a sister that is engaged to Gary, pregnant by Gary, and it was just like jaw freaking drop. Okay, I was not expecting that. My mind is saying, okay, Gary, you were trying to leave and not be present, but at the same time, how were you gonna? It was still information that was gonna be brought to the forefront because the your fiance was coming. I don't understand how. And then come to find out he was lying, saying he was leaving to go to work. You weren't leaving to go nowhere. You were still in the city, very much in the city, um, going and pursuing Andy. So that means you've been still messing around with Andy this entire time, and yet on the side you had a whole nother fiance. Now, mind you, you were engaged to Andy at one point. So I'm so confused on the timeline because my understanding is you were done with your ex-wife, then you went on to pursue Andy. Where did all of this take place? Um, I understood Andy from both sides because on one end you're seeing this woman, she's pregnant, you don't want to stress her out. She looks extremely happy with the situation. It's almost as if Gary is an entirely different person with her than what he has been showing to Andy, which is probably his true self. And the nicer version of what the other his fiance is getting is the fake version of Gary. Um, I'm just like, wow, you done strangled Andy to death. You have basically been following her, keeping tabs on her. You bought this girl a freaking Rolls Royce, a Bentley, whatever. You done bought this girl a penthouse. I mean, oh my gosh, dude. Another thing, y'all, I still think Gary was doing some under the table stuff, um, some fraudulent things because what is he doing to get all of this money to do all of these things? I'm just saying. But that's a whole nother thing. But seriously, you were doing all of this stuff to Andy and at the same and still actively pursuing her. And still you had a whole nother situation. You are engaged. You have a child on the way. What the heck? And I mean he was so just yoke issues all out right here. You couldn't even look Andy in the face. And I'm like, so ain't nobody realized that Andy was like her facial expressions, her energy shifted when Gary was present and when the woman was there. And I'm just like, it is a tough place to be in because For me, it's an in between. You don't want to interrupt this woman's life. You don't. You don't want to blow up her stuff. At the same time, I would want her to know, like, girl, do not marry this man because he is not what you think he is. That is the other part that is like the battle. On one end, I was with Danny. I'm like, yes, tell her this, whoever this Gary is, you do not want to be married to this man because he is not who you think he is. And I mean, and I would have, and I'm like, tell her everything. She's already pregnant by him. If I would rather her know than to get married to this man and then down the line, years later, start to find out things about him. And then on top of that, you calling yourself Andy, liking the brother. Like, it's a whole ugly situation. I don't see how that's going to go anywhere. All in all, the way they cut it off, so we're going to have to, excuse me, y'all, we're going to have to wait till the next episode to see what's going to happen. But the Danny was just like, Andy, you better tell her or I'm gonna tell her because she don't let this girl marry this man. And while they were in there talking and Danny was saying what she was saying, guess who overheard it? I thought maybe one of the other guys was gonna overhear it, but the woman, she actually was coming back in with the ladies and she overheard something. Now, what specifically she heard, I don't know, but we're gonna find out. So they're gonna be basically forced to say something, and I would love to see how that afternoon is gonna go. Overall, that was like the best part for me, and I was like, I didn't even care about hearing about nothing else that anybody else had going on in this episode. I wanted to see what the heck was going to happen with that. Yes, that they showed Maurice and Calvin, and Maurice going out, needing to get out, and understandable, get out, let your hair down, you know, have a good time. You're no longer on the chopping block to go to prison. Enjoy yourself. But Maurice, don't get out here and make the same freaking mistake that you did with whatever that dude's name is. Um, so yeah. So y'all, that was my thoughts on Sisters for this week. I cannot wait till next week to see what the heck is gonna happen. But let me know what y'all thought. It had some good parts and had some boring parts for me this week. It wasn't like a bam, bam, bam. It was like a bam, and then like everything else was kind of dragging its feet. But yeah. All right. Well, thank y'all for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And I hope you have a beautiful, wonderful freaking day. And it is officially holiday season for Christmas. May y'all have many blessings. Bye, y'all.